Good morning everyone. How are you all? How did you celebrate your Diwali? I hope it was good. So belated happy Diwali. And now today I want to ask you one question. Do you like to watch some comedy shows? I think you must have seen in TV there are many comedy shows and comedy movies. So what do you mean by this comedy word? Comedy means something which make us feel laugh. Okay, if by listening something we feel laugh, it means that is a comedy dialogue or comedy conversation. Or by seeing someone doing some strange things we feel laugh, then that is a comedy activity. The person who makes us laugh, what do we call them? The people, sorry, the people, those who make us laugh, or the person, what do we call that person or those people? Is there any word for them? Yes, we call them comedian. At this present time we often use this word. He is a comedian. He is a comedian. Comedian means a person who makes us laugh. But there is one more word of the same meaning. I mean, comedian in the previous olden times, they were known as jester. You can use this word also, jester. A person who makes everyone laugh. Jester. 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 So today we are going to read about a person who makes laugh to everyone. Especially he is a special person of a king, and in the king's palace he used to make laugh to all the people. He was a very good entertainer and always used to laugh and make other people laugh. So there is a story, Tenali paints a horse. Tenali paints a horse. Here Tenali is the person, a jester. Tenali is a jester, means a comedian who paints a horse. So have you ever heard about painting a horse? We know about painting of house. We often paint our house. Have you ever heard of painting a horse? I have never heard. So let's read out this story where Tenali paints a horse. Let's see how can he paint a horse. Let's read this out. So Tenali says that he can paint better than that. Now let's see what does Raja reply. I bet a bag of gold that you can't. I'll give you the paints and the pepper. You may also take leave from the court for a month. If at the end of the month you bring me a painting that is half as good as the ones we saw today, I promise you a bag of gold and the title King of Artists. So as you can see that the king says, the Raja says that if he draws the painting half good at least, then he is going to give Tenali a gold bag as well as the title King of Artists. So Tenali says, I agree. After a month, I will show you a better painting than that one. Okay, so now it is decided. There is a bet between the Raja and Tenali about that painting, and the time is of 1 month. The courtier starts smiling, thinking that he would lose the bet. They know Tenali Raman cannot paint at all. Tenali looks at the giggling courtiers angrily and walks out. Giggling. Here you can see there is a word giggling. 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 What's the meaning of this word giggling? Giggling means laughing slowly. Okay. A kind of where the laugh is through the gestures. What do I say? It is not a loud laugh. Slowly, when we laugh in a group, that is called giggling. Laughing together slowly in a group, giggling. So Tenali sees that they are giggling, but he walks out of the court of the palace and he is very angry. Now the first courtier says that you have really caught him out, sir. He thinks he is the smartest person in the world. Second courtier, he has really painted himself into a corner. I would like to see him get out of that one. Raja, I wouldn't be too certain of that. He is really very clever. So here, as you can see, these courtiers are very jealous of Tenali and they think that he cannot paint at all. They are very sure that Tenali is going to lose the bet. They are certain, they are sure. But the Raja says that I wouldn't be too certain. certain, certain. Have a look. Certain means sure. So the king is not sure because he knows that Tenali is very clever. Now, coming to scene 2. A month is over. The courtiers are waiting eagerly for Tenali to bring in his painting. They are smiling and whispering to each other. Raja: so, what do we do today? First courtier: sir, the day has arrived when Tenali Raman shows you his painting. Raja: where is he? It's late and almost time for my lunch. Second courtier: perhaps he is so busy with his painting that he has lost track of the days. Perhaps means maybe. Then the third courtier says, perhaps his painting is so good that he can't bear to part with it. What is the meaning of this sentence? That he can't bear to part with it. That he can't bear to part with it. It means that the courtier says that perhaps his painting is so good that he don't want to be separated with it. He doesn't want to be separated with his painting. Okay. So he can't bear to part with it means he doesn't want to be separated from his painting. Now Raja says, well, I can't wait anymore. Somebody should go to his house and tell him that he has lost his bet and the bag of gold. Fourth courtier: it's only fair that if he doesn't make good his boast, he should pay a penalty. I feel he should pay the court a bag of gold. So the fourth courtier says here that it won't be fair. If he wins, he is going to get a bag of gold. But as he has lost it, there should be some penalty. What is the meaning of this word penalty? It means fine. He should pay a fine. He should pay a penalty. And what should be the penalty? What should be the fine? He should pay the court bag of gold. So this is said by the fourth courtier. Now the first courtier says that indeed, yes, I agree, sir, that he should. Indeed means actually or really. First courtier says that actually yes, I agree, sir, that he should. I mean that he should pay the court a bag of gold. Then the third courtier: ah, there he is. He seems to have brought it, but it is covered with cloth. Now he has brought his painting which is covered with cloth. He enters. Have a look to these sentences. Tenali comes in with two men carrying a painting covered with a sheet of cloth. When Tenali gestures, the men lift the cloth to display an empty canvas. The painting has only a few curved strokes of black on the right hand edge, and a few lines of the green at the bottom below it. Now, Tenali brings a painting which is covered, but soon the cloth is removed from that painting. And what is there in the painting? Have a look to this painting, what Tenali brings. As you can see, there are some lines, some strokes. These lines you can see here, these are the lines, some straight lines, some left to right and some east west and north south lines. As you can see these lines, and at the end, as you can see, it's something like a tail. So this is what his painting is. Now let us see
what Tenali says. Good afternoon, sir. See what a beautiful horse I have drawn. It's a magnificent black stallion with a white star on its forehead. Look at the polished leather saddle on it. I wonder if I should have the reins trail like that. So Tenali explains that this is a painting of a horse. He also explains about the color of the horse, about everything, about the whole body. But as we can see, there is no horse can be seen in the picture. But he claims that it is the picture of a horse. Now, let's see what Raja says. What's this? I cannot see a horse. This is very insulting. You are trying to make me a fool. It means you are trying to make a fool of me. There is nothing on this canvas. So here the Raja, the king, becomes very angry and he says that this is my insult and you are trying to make a fool of me. And I cannot see any horse over here. What is this? Tenali says, well, you were the one who told me that we had to use our imagination when we looked at paintings. Imagine that the rest of the horse is just outside the canvas grazing at some lush green grass. Look, you can see the edge of its tail in that corner. So Tenali says that, sir, have a look to this tail and imagine the other part is on the other side of the canvas and grazing, eating some green grasses. Because I know you have said me once that some of the things we need to imagine. Everything cannot be drawn. Who said this? At the time of the first painting, as you can see, the old painting is also kept here. The king has said that everything cannot be drawn. When Tenali said about this painting that the head of the cow is not shown and the other part of these two men are not shown, the king has answered that everything cannot be drawn in the picture. Something we need to imagine. So here he is ready with the answer that you have to imagine the rest part of my horse, because I have already, you can see at the corner there is a tail of that horse. So you imagine the rest of the horse. Now the king, the Raja, understands everything. Then he says that, you old rascal, you have got the better of me, minister. Where is that bag of gold? Give it to Tenali Raman, the cleverest man in my kingdom. So here the king agrees that everything can be drawn. Drawing we cannot imagine before drawing. Drawing is something that we see and then we can think about that. It is not about half imagination, but drawing is something which can be drawn. Whatever is there in the painter's mind, the painter can show everything on a sheet of paper. It is possible. So the king has realized it and he announces Tenali the cleverest man of his kingdom, and he also fulfills his promises and he gives the bag of gold to Tenali. Now let's have a look to this glossary. So let's read out these word meanings in the glossary. Wit. Wit means the ability to say clever and amusing things. It means you can say that the people, those who are intelligent or the clever, we call them witty. Witty. Okay. So wit means the ability to say clever and amusing things. Next one is jester. Jester means a man who tells jokes and funny stories. Jester means a man who tells jokes and funny stories. Next one is gesture. Before one was jester. This is gesture. Gestures means signals with hands. Gestures means signals with hands. We often see small kids, those who don't know how to talk, they often do gestures. We understand everything with their gestures, that what do they want. Okay. So next one is stallion. What is the meaning of stallion? Stallion means an adult male horse. Stallion means adult male horse. As you can see that the word is used here, stallion, in the lesson. It means it is about the horse which Tenali has painted. So this was the glossary part. And now you need to read the whole story once again so that you can have a proper reading skills. I mean, you should know the proper reading skills. You should have good pronunciation. You should know the meanings of each word. So for that you need to go through the lesson so that you can know the meaning of different words. You can have a good pronunciation, and of course your reading ability will be improved. So must read this lesson at home. Here we go with the lesson. Tenali paints a horse. Let's see who are the characters. Raj Krishnadevraya. Raja Krishnadevraya. Raja means king. So here you see Raja Krishnadevraya is the king of Vijayanagar. Next one is Tenali Raman. He is a poet and jester in the court. Tenali Raman is a poet and jester in the court. As you can see here, these pictures. These are the animated pictures. This man who is sitting on this chair is a king, and the name of this king is Krishnadevraya. Next one is Tenali Raman. Who is he? He is a poet and a jester. Jester means, just now I said, a comedian, one who makes everyone laugh. And next is first courtier, second courtier, third courtier, and the fourth courtier. So now let us start this lesson. Tenali paints a horse. This is scene 1. Okay. One day Raja Krishnadevraya and his courtiers watch as an artist shows his paintings to the king. The king and the most of his courtiers are impressed with the paintings. However, one of the courtier, Tenali Raman, looks displeased. So, what did we see here? That one day they all were watching a painting. They all were happy with the painting of the painter. But Tenali was not happy with those paintings. Now let's see what happens. Raja: that is really a beautiful painting. I can almost feel the peace of the village. Scene: I can almost feel the peace of the village scene. You are a very talented artist. Here is a bag of gold for you. We shall be very pleased if you can stay on at our court and make more beautiful paintings like this. So the king is very happy with with the painter, and the king says this to the painter, that if you stay here and you make more beautiful paintings for us, and because of the painting he has made, the king is already offering him a bag of gold, and also there is an offer for him to stay there in the palace, in the king's palace. Now the artist says, Your Highness is very kind. It will be an honor to paint for your majesty. Your Highness is very kind. It will be an honor to paint for your majesty. It means he is very happy. He feels that it is his honor, and obviously nobody will reject a job in the king's palace, because everybody wants to do job there for a good salary, for good income. So he is also very happy. But Tenali says that I do not think they are such good paintings at all. I don't think that they are such good paintings at all. Then Raja says, How can you say that? I think they are perfectly lovely. I think they are perfectly lovely. Now let's see what happens next. Tenali. For one thing, where is the other side of these two men? You can only see their one side. For another, where is the face of that cow? So here you can see there is a picture. In this picture you can see only one side of these men. These pictures are drawn from the side, the other side is not shown, and even you cannot see the face of this cow. As you can see, this cow you can see from the back. So Tenali says that this is an incomplete picture. We cannot see the face of this cow, even we cannot see the other side of these two men. Then the Raja says, "What an ignorant fool you are. Everything cannot be painted. You must imagine the bits that are missing." What does the Raja say? What does the king say? What an ignorant fool you are. Everything cannot be painted. You must imagine the bits that are missing. Tenali says, "I bet I can paint better than that." Well, I could if I had the paints. I bet I can paint better than that. Well, I could if I had the paints.
So it was such an interesting and comedy story that we read, and I love reading such type of stories. Let's see, in the next lesson also we may get some types of funny stories that we are going to love definitely. So I'll meet you in the next video with some other lesson. So wait for that, whether it is a comedy or a serious one, we don't know. So just see what is your next lesson and wait for the next video. Thank you. Have a good day.